I Miss Matty. Wagwan. They are give contact. You hear about the program on Roots 96.1 FM? Which program? Tell me about it. A program called Be Positive. It is all about positive influence and positive image towards the child. It is aired on Tuesdays at 8:30 p.m. Let me go remind me neighbor. Hear it? Remember, be positive every Tuesday night at 8:30 on Route 96.1 FM. I'm a friend. You hear about the new thing coming in school? What you say? The code first. Tell me about it. It's a new framework called SWPB. What's that? What's it all about? SWPB is school-wide positive behavior, intervention, and support, where it teaches children positive behavioral habits, social intervention, and support toward the child in school. That sounds good, my friend. It certainly will benefit everybody. The students, teachers, parents, and even the canteen staff.
All right, good night and welcome to another night's program. Be positive on Roots 96.1 FM. I am your host, Royton McLaren. As you know, this program really gears towards positive influence and positive image toward the child. Tonight, I will be using the same theme, be the influence to the child, but we will hear from some persons that are will be calling on the phone tonight. The guests will not be able to be here tonight. Hello? So we will hear from them directly on the phone. We will looking tonight on be the influence. Be the influence. And we want to know if our children is really influenced properly by our parents, caregivers, or guardian. And when we talk about be the influence, we are looking into the positive movement, the way we react to the child positively, and how we move with the child. Because as we know, we grow our children and they have not been faced with that positive way they should grow. And we look at negative ways, we look at positive ways, right? So when we talk about the influence, are we available? Are we warm to these children? Do we listen to them? Do we play with them? Are we being grateful to them, being fear? Do we have that high expectation? What is the power of influence to the child? Our children live in the homes and we say them bad. And we have so many things to say about them negatively. But what do we want to know? Is there that positive influence to the child? Are we available to make the time to make sure the children are living right, doing the right thing, playing the right company? Are we doing all of these? So the question tonight will ask, and are we doing the right influence? And we may use this theme because what I want to say to the public and to the listeners and who view on Facebook page and YouTube is that this theme is coming from the Ministry of Education. Be the influence. And each time we'll have somebody different, we'll give a different opinion. But we want this message to reach across the island, and as much person will listen to this program here, we'll learn something new. Tonight we are expecting to hear from Nicole Turner, and of course we are going to hear from Mr. Ranford Thompson, our Reverend. and we will hear. Just tune in, keep tuning, and of course, we are going to hear from these people. We first hear from the female, and then we hear from the male. But before we hear from them, we'll take a short break, and as soon as we get back, we'll hear from Nicole. Take a short break, and we'll be right back.
Hampton Primary School, and you are listening to Be Positive on Roots 96.1 FM. I Miss Matty, Wagwan. But they are give that talk. You hear about the program on Roots 96.1 FM? Which program? Tell me about it. A program called Be Positive. It is all about positive influence and positive image towards the child. It is aired on Tuesdays at 8:30 p.m. Let me go remind me neighbor. Miss Mary, remember, Be Positive every Tuesday night at 8:30 on Roots 96.1 FM. I'm a friend. You hear about the new thing coming in school? What you saying? Tell me about it. It's a new framework called SWPB. What's that and what's it all about? SWPB is school-wide positive behavior, intervention, and support, where it teaches children positive behavioral habits, social intervention, and support toward the child in school. That sounds good, my friend. It certainly will benefit everybody. The students, teachers, parents, and even the canteen staff.
All right, welcome back. You're listening and you're watching on the Facebook page and YouTube as well to Be Positive on Roots 96.1 FM. As I said, your host, Elroy Tan McLaren. And tonight we are looking at the topic, Be the Influence, right? We want to know, as I said earlier, how we can influence our child. But you may ask, when you say be the influence, we are talking about the capacity to have an effect on the character development and behavior as someone or something of the effect. So you have that power, that authority to create an impact on the person, whether behavior or in someone. So we are looking tonight at to how much can we develop that good influence. As I said earlier, we are going to talk more. Let me give you a little reminder of something I said earlier on. We want to know, when we talk about the influence, are we available? Do we warm to our children? Do we listen to them? Do we play with them? Are we grateful to our children? Are we fair to them? Honest with them? Have that high expectation? Because we have a power to influence a child. We would like to listen to Nicole at this time.
Good night, everyone.
All right, good night, Nicole. Thanks for having you here. I know you just unfortunately could make it tonight, but you know that you are someone that here on many occasions, right? So we understand that you know. Oh,
Good. I just said, okay.
are you hearing us clearly? Are you hearing me clearly?
Mr. McLaren.
Yes. Are you hearing me?
Yes, I'm hearing you.
All right. I was just giving a little introduction about you, saying that you know the person that can do this job, right? But
yeah,
let's get into the thing now. We are talking about Nicole, be the influence, right? And I know we are going to listen to our father shortly after, but our mother, right?
yeah.
And we are looking into the influence of a child. Do you think, as a mother, um the way that the child get that proper attention, that influence in a positive way from a mother to the child. What do you have to say about that?
Or as mothers, we know that we are one that has taken the child for the 9 month period. The child is with us. So whatever we did from inception of birth of the child, and the child was inside of us, that's what that socialization begins from there. We do what we say or we operate as parents. If per se a mother is very angry during the pregnancy, what I find and studies have shown, if you're angry throughout the pregnancy, you see that at birth the child innate some of that characteristic. I've seen it happen so many times, and as a mother and as a woman, I'm able to say that it seems to be factual, it seems to be true.
All right.
How
All right. Let me for the sake of our listeners, you said that a woman that carried a child for 9 months, all right, maybe possibly angry. So when that child is being born, you said that child can have some characteristic.
of anger, because I've known a particular woman, I've seen it too many times happening. She's always fighting with the father of the child. They're always engaging in disputes, fight, non-stop. And what I've realized the child now, he's asking the child, where he's now 6 years old, and he has that characteristic, loves to fight, always angry, always starting fight, always angry.
So you said before, is it the mother or the father that always been angry?
The mother but the father is always fighting her as well. So it's both parents. What I'm saying for her, said the woman who has the physical child within her, it's a stronger connection and a bond between the mother and the child, separate and apart from the bond between the father and the child, because the mother has this child for 9 full months, that takes this child for full term pregnancy. So I'm saying that mother has that bond, that connection. She's the one that is angry, and I have seen it too many times where children develop this type of characteristic from there.
All right. So Nicole, you are saying to us that the influence begin from the home. So you are saying the child born possible
Yes,
to be
I
angry.
think it's like that. Not
Oh,
just angry, but whatever the mother is a loving mother, because positive, we're dealing with positiveness and negative as well. The positive, I've seen where the mother read to the child, sing to the child, the father does the same, pray, speak to the tummy. And I've seen the child grow to be loving, to be kind, to develop these natural positive characteristics. I've seen it played out.
so all right. Let me answer this question again then. So you have a angry mother and that angry father where the child can possibly born and grow to be angry.
Yes,
What
it
would
develops.
what would you say if I ask this question? Say then, because I already talk about something about love. Say then, let me put you on the spot. Say then, this man is a loving Christian and he always sings and be nice and the father same way.
The father, you're talking about the father?
The mother is a lovely woman, she had a baby
Yeah.
for 9 months, and she always sing and she always nice and pray and read her Bible. And the father is a nice person as well.
Yeah.
Do you what are that child who born being angry?
No, naturally, like I said, they will naturally develop that characteristic from inception. I've seen it played out when they start to change off now for the parents in the teenage years. when they're influenced by other persons outside of the home, in schools, in community affairs, those persons start making an impression on them as they develop into adolescence, and then they start in different changes. Not all of them, because some of them still stick to their values that they're taught in the home after they've been born now and develop characteristics of both parents. They start changing out during the adolescent period. But I know for sure that if they go to a loving home from infancy, and the mother is a loving mother to stick to her baby, to read to her baby, to listen to good, nice, clean, positive music. I have seen it played out too many times. And the church have shown too, where the child actually becomes a very loving baby. The baby don't cry so much at night. Nothing really bothers this baby. Because she has learned that he or she has learned that from the home they have gone straight from the parents, from inception. When they really start changing, when they get to the adolescent changing, when they start to influence by other persons that they other family members, other parents, schoolmates. What I've also known is that psychologists refer to this influence of parents like socialization, the way they learn behaviors and the skills necessary to interact in their everyday lives. The parents influence their child's social skills directly, and you have some that they garner on their own indirectly. But it's how you manage it as a parent. Proper management and values that you teach in the home, because that is what it is for. That is what will hurt at the end of the day. If the child, even if they get in adult stage, will go back to the root that was taught from their own.
We have a little bit feedback here. I wonder probably the location where you are.
Sorry.
Get a little bad feedback here, right? I hope maybe we could change location that we can get a better feedback. What I want to ask again, Simon, Nicole, based on what you have said in your research and such like, what I want to find out from you now, right? Because of this angry mother, this angry father, and that child go possible to be angry. How can that child now be turned to be more getting a better influence? Because no, this is what happened now, based on what I've said, right? The child, the mother, and the father being angry, the child born now in an angry situation, the child become angry. How can that child now get any form of positive influence?
All right, that influence now would definitely have to come from outside of the home and will come, which the child would not develop it right away in young, say about pre-age. They wouldn't be able to develop it on their own, but going into adolescence, if they have strong willpower, they determine I don't want to be like mommy, I don't want to be like daddy, because I'm this way and I'm always listening to trouble. They have to probably see a fear that they idolize it, because they cannot idolize them or the father, because it's constant fighting, constant abuse. So they want to look outside of the home. They might look to their teachers, or they might look to one of their peers. They might say that this is Johnny next door. His parents are not fighting. He's always so quiet. He's watching his cartoons in peace. He tends to do well in school. They will have to go outside of the home to idolize that type of behavior, because they don't want to be like this Johnny. They want to get stickers. They want to be a teacher's pet. And as they develop into their adolescent life, they probably determine a strong sense of willpower to want to be opposite from what is being at the home, because of the really bad things. The constant fighting and the shouting and the abuse, They, like I said, they just have to be outside of the home to get to that from somebody else.
All right. I heard it as something I was thinking was going to continue on that page when you said the need outside help because I don't think based on what you have said I don't think that the child alone need outside help.
No, man, the parents need help for themselves.
Right.
But we're talking about the child. We're talking about the child.
Right, but for the child to be properly influenced in a positive way, the parent need to get training
Help for
and
themselves.
help. Exactly. Because if the child born in an angry situation, I don't think these parents are in a position to change that lifestyle of a child into be positive into because if they are angry, well, they quarrel and then fuss every day, probably gonna smoke and all them kind of things as well too. And how can these parents change the mindset of a child, which is say that is very, very angry, right? So I think there from then because it is going to be very difficult. Well, let me not say it's going to be difficult. It can be, right? Because maybe they're angry, but they love the child as well. Put it this way. Now, let me say that. Maybe they can be very angry, but this is something the child will be seen every day on a regular basis. Mommy and daddy fight, mommy and daddy this, and mommy and daddy that, right? So right then, right, because it's going to be very difficult for them to have that time with the available and that warmness for the child. It's a little bit difficult, right? So what are they going to listen to?
They will have who we are referring to the child.
Right. Because the child
will have to get help from teachers because that is the next step. After home, they go to school. Or they have to look to someone in their community, whether it be a classmate, friend, or mother, or another mother of another child within their community. Because children naturally need role models. Children don't listen. They watch what you do. Children live what they learn. And it's more doing than telling. They watch the action of person more than if you tell them to do something.
So they're influenced based on what they see.
What they see, they're doing things.
So okay. So what?
And you were asking a question about the parents. The parents definitely have to get help. We should definitely have to come from social intervention from different sectors. I know that they provide counseling, schools for parents. They have parents workshop within association, citizens association of the community. So then someone will have to, but eventually, you know what will happen as well, Mr. McLaren? The teachers will notice changes in an individual, in a child's behavior, and some teachers can discern that something is wrong at home, and they themselves will make the necessary intervention into the home of that particular child's family.
All right. So thank God for the teachers.
And even the church community as well. I know that some church communities, even our pastors, will sometimes intervene.
Okay. All right, Nicole, I listened to you, and one thing that we hear tonight from you, Nicole, is that if a mother been pregnant for 9 months and the father is also pregnant for 9 months and being an angry and probably a volatile mother, and the child, the father is very in the same state, the child can possibly grow to be arrogant.
Let me quickly just say to Mr. McLaren before we go for a break. Remember that some mothers are just single parents, you know. So we have to think about that as well. Even without the father being there, being angry, the single mothers, it stipulates from there because they alone will have to carry this burden or whatsoever they alone as a single mother perceive or act or say or do throughout the pregnancy can affect the characteristics of the child as well.
All
So we
right.
want to look at a home, a single parent as well, with an absentee father when we get that.
All right, Nicole. We take just keep on logging there, Nicole. We'll take a short break and we'll be right back.
Students of the Denhampton Primary School, and you are listening to Be Positive on Roots 96.1 FM. Hey, Miss Murphy, Wagwan. They are gift got talk. You hear about the program on Roots 96.1 FM? Which program? Tell me about it. A program called Be Positive. It is all about positive influence and positive image towards the child. It is aired on Tuesdays at 8:30 p.m. Let me go remind me neighbor. Miss Mary, remember, be positive every Tuesday night at 8:30 on Route 96.1 FM. I'm a friend. You hear about the new thing coming in school? What you saying? Tell me about it. It's a new framework called SWPBIS. What's that and what's it all about? SWPBIS is school-wide positive behavior, intervention, and support, where it teaches children positive behavioral habits, social intervention, and support toward the child in school. That sounds good, my friend. It certainly will benefit everybody. The students, teachers, parents, and even the canteen staff.
What up, man?
What is it?
I'm to come to Thompson now.
Oh, yeah, man.
Yeah, man, just linking now. All right. Welcome back. You are listening to Be Positive here on Roots 96.1 FM. And we just listened to Nicole Turner. And Nicole Turner, as she told us the influence when a mother that is angry and a father that is hungry can create a bad influence on the child from birth growing up. And then know that is where the child is going to seek outside help, and the mother and the father themselves go and find some help. All right, so we will be hearing from now the gentleman, Reverend, by the name of Mr. Ranford Thompson. And we should be hearing from him just now. And all right, let's take. All right, we are hoping to get Mr. Thompson, but we cannot get him just now. So for the meantime, let me just talk a little bit on Nicole Turner.
Hello?
And as you said earlier on,
Hello?
give us some views, not that is strange to me or what has been said, but then as you said, studies shows that mother and father. But then I would like to ask, and let us say you are the listener listening now, right? If we should have the parent, the mother and the father that
Yeah, good night.
do
We're
have
ready to get on air now.
a very good relationship, loving,
Hello?
kind, friendly, very warm, good listener, very grateful. And the mother is pregnant for, we have Mr. Thompson, right? All right, let me take a break. Mr. Thompson is now on the line, and we should hear from Mr. Thompson. No. All right, Mr. Thompson.
McLaren.
Oh, yes, sir. Welcome to Mr. Ranford Thompson. Um, Reverend. No, right?
Yes, sir.
Right. Mr. Thompson, happy to have you. I know Mr. Thompson for a few years, right? And to the public, a real father, to my knowledge, a real man, and the way he grows children. And hello.
I'm listening.
Okay.
I'm hearing you.
All right.
Okay. Thank you.
So I am happy to have you. And I don't know if you were listening earlier on when we do have a mother on the line and she was telling us the influence from birth, where the father being hungry and the mother being angry, and then the child then grow to be hungry. But your version now, we want to hear from you, Mr. Thompson, right? Be the influence to the child. Do you think that our children is being properly influenced in our time? What would you say about that, Mr. Thompson?
Well, first of all, thank Mr. McLaren for having me on your program.
Yes, sir, most welcome.
And I don't know, I believe that there are far more and more qualified people than myself who could have been here on your program to answer this question. But then, I try to give it and do justice. I don't, straight up, I don't think so. Based on my age and where I became a self-taught evaluator of life on a whole, from very tender age, looking at life, looking at, behavioral patterns of children or my own peers in school and the field of play, in family life kind of thing. When you compare those times to today, it's like peace to chalk, as they would say, where children are definitely not getting the kind of influence, parental influence that they need to become role models and better citizens to be put out there in the society. So most definitely not. No.
All right. And well, let me not give you my views right now, because so you are saying to us, Mr. Thompson, that you don't believe that these children are getting the proper influence that they should get, or as the Bible said, teach the child the way he should grow, and when he grow right.
Not in totality. Not in totality. There are still children that are that have parents.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I would believe that, and I know listeners would believe that as well. But yes.
For the white, based on what we are realizing, even when you move about on the streets and when you see the dismissal of a school and the roadside and the behavioral, the attitude and so on and so forth. In my day, in your day, 60 years ago, and actually giving away my age, there's no such thing that could happen. The kind of level of indiscipline that you see that emanates and pervades the society today. If these children were coming out of homes where they would have been getting a balanced influence, morals, values, and attitude, and certain parental discipline, then we'd most definitely see children turning out with better characteristics than what we are seeing today. It really is sad. It's a really sad indictment on parents in general. But I think there's hope for us nevertheless.
I really agree with that. I strongly say that. Said this on my program many times. That of course, there's hope. There's hope, but the reality of life, Mr. Thompson, right, is that I don't think, as you said, that amount of influence right? Because you spoke about the children on the street coming from school, and you said, in age. All right. I said this sometime. I said this on my program. You may hear me say some things repeatedly, but it just I have to say it at the moment based on the topic that I'm dealing with. I know Mr. Thompson, and I said it. I said it that I was in growing up in the country there. That the community is one who grow the children then, right? So then mother and father would hold and could call Mr. John or Miss Mary next door, say, I am not here, give a high from me, and they are going to give a proper high in a way that you have been influenced. So mother and father are not there, so it is as if the person that is giving an eye as if they are the mother and the father as well when you're growing up. So you have to listen to them as well, right? Because when they come up, mother and father are going to hear everything. And I could remember I got a beating right in front of my father from a neighbor. And the man said that was about maybe at about 8, 9 years of age. And he said he heard me curse a bad word long ago after, right? And my father was there and he looked at me and I started to cry. And my mother just come and give me 2 months and said, boy, a bad word you cuss. You see the point? So until this day, at my age, I still learn and have that discipline. You see the point? So
Yeah.
listen to what you say. I totally agree with you, right? Then I always say that it's take a village to grow the child.
Right.
And that amount of influence we needed more.
Mr. Lawrence, if you allow me to interject here.
Yes, man.
I'm one of the, I'm a prodigy myself of one of those kids who were brought up in the country setting.
Right.
But then as life changes from country to urbanization, city living, there's a big shift, from when we go from the country and everybody knows everybody as again living in the city of Kingston where nobody knows anybody.
Right.
Because I have 2 neighbors around me, and as much as I try to be very neighborly with them, for 5 years I'm still struggling to get them to say good morning or good afternoon when we run into each other at the gate. So urbanization, you wouldn't have that in the country. That would just not be accepted. But let me just quickly
right.
give you a little bit, if you permit me,
Sure.
My consciousness as I grow up, of the importance of my living a life that will be influential to not just only to my that I have fathered scores of other children, and they all have turned out. Some of them coming out of very, very underprivileged situations, very underprivileged situation, and just getting into communities at different times in my life, in our life, my wife and myself, and working with those kids in these communities. We are happy to report that a number of them, when we would have gone into these communities, these children are fighting, stabbing, cussing, behaving like you know what.
Right.
And just going in there and show them love and care, and helping them, to understand their self-worth, in every child lies a prime minister or a lawyer. But that child just needs the right influence, the right help, the right care, the love and understanding and forgiveness when they step out of line. And a lot of them have gone through university, some of them are in police force. And that's what there is one right in my household now who is coming out of a critical situation, who might be listening to this program right now, is a constable. And he would never have dreamt that he would have been to where he is today.
Okay.
But let me just quickly say that because of my own consciousness of the importance of making my life an influence to my kids, this is coming out of my boyhood, where my mother gave me up for adoption to what I refer to as a gentry family, a well-to-do family, very disciplined family, very hardworking family.
Okay.
Not to say my mother wasn't hardworking, but she couldn't afford a education for me. So she saw the opportunity where this gentry family would have taken me in, gave me a good education, and showed me discipline. It was a hard worker kind of thing. So I got that foundation. I got that instilled into me. And I said, well, you know, with God's help, I'm going to be that influence for my children and other people's children.
Okay.
To the extent where I now have a 45-year-old daughter, who is a professor in America now. I have a
Okay.
son who is working in a bank in Barbados, and I have my daughter here now, who holds on a very good job. You know, all of them have gone to tertiary studies, you know, at the highest level.
But Mr. Thompson,
Yeah.
you start your introduction like you are the right person who really get the truth, man. Is the point? Because that tells us that tells us that the positive influence you and these children to allow them to reach where they are.
Yes. Oh yes, definitely.
That is it.
Definitely. And I make myself available to them.
That's my first thing here, available.
What I found out, let me tell you what I found out. As a youngster, like every young person,
right.
I used to play some sport really well. And Saturdays and Sundays, I would want to leave my wife with the young kids to go play cricket or play football. And after a while, I realized that she needed that help home with 3 children. And I gave up on cricket and I gave up on football. To stay home, you know, work hard, pick them up from school, drop them off after school, we go to Burger King, wherever it is. This is free advertisement for Burger King. Right? go to these places, going to university to pick my daughter up,
okay,
to make sure she don't take the taxi back. Wolf and, you know, who will take her away at night time. Lie down in the car, sleep till 1 o'clock until she finish her study group, and drive all the way over to Spanish Town. And I do that for all of them alike. So,
okay.
so once you, as a parent, understand the consciousness of being that influence, positive influence for your children and for other children, they are going to come out to be things that is unimaginable at some given point in time in their lives. I mean, it's amazing. You just never know what is when you put that seed in what is going to come out of it. So let whoever is listening to this program out there in Radio Land, I encourage you, father, you know, mother, live a life of consistency. Children is looking for a consistent life with good values, good morals, good attitude, good discipline, you know, and this will help them because they know what they're looking for, you know. And up to this week here, my last daughter is now 35. She says, Daddy, boy, you couldn't have done more for us.
Oh yes, that's great.
You know, you couldn't really have possibly done any more for us. And because of that, Mr. McLaren, my family, I am so proud of my family. We live close. We couldn't be any closer right now.
That's
but the
great.
one that is overseas with 2 grandchildren, I just came back to look for them for a whole month because they've been just pining with one grandpa to come up, to go up and spend a month with them and then come back down to this other one that I have in the house every day, and then over to church. I have to spend time with them over there. So the time you have to, it's not your time anymore. It has to be spoon out to getting that child up to speed, to be influenced positively, so that they can make for themselves good citizens of tomorrow. And then the chain effect will continue. You know, they because my only doing it now with their children, my grandchildren, and others whom I've brought up in my household over 20 and nearly 30 of them in my household at different times. They're doing very well too.
Okay.
That's that's the kind of thing we're hoping that others will emanate, and then we'll help the other child who needs that positive influence.
My God. Listen to you, I want to think that having probably 10 more persons like you, Mr. Thompson, probably we would have a great turnaround in this country. You see the point? Not that we don't have any more like you know, but listen to what you have said, right? We need some more men in our country that really stand out. I think God is depending on man to be the most influenced and available person, right? And we are not. And listening to you talk now, you know, you stand there for your children, and that yes.
And others don't leave that. Don't leave out that line. Others
and others.
A lot of others.
Right.
God,
I think it's about 30 over 30, right? And you it's great, Mr. Thompson, because you see, I heard it said earlier on children coming from school, sometimes sitting in the very bus, and listen to these children talk. Sometimes in your mind you wonder, sometimes believe you may have to pray for them, you have to just have a feelings of sorrow for them.
Let me give you another quick one, because this is so important that children have somebody to look to.
Right.
There's a time in my life when I used to carry my kids to school, and I used to drive an open back van, and children used to wait at the bus stop on the way from all the way down the bottom of Boulevard, all the way into Half a Tree. And when I pick them up, them piling all over one another. And today, a lot of people, I don't have a clue who they are.
Yes.
You remember when you used to pick us up in the open back van and sort of thing? You know, so what I'm saying simply is that we have to forget about ourselves and just live for that child that needs that positive influence. Our lives are not anymore. Once we come to that level of understanding the importance of what it means to be there for kids, you know, and it will work. It will always work.
And one thing
I must say before I close off on your program to say, I will give God credit for all this that has happened to me.
Yes.
Because my life before I became a Christian wasn't a nice life in terms of good behaving boy, youngster. No. But it was having given my life also at age 24 for 40 odd years now, you know, and now I'm a pastor ordained in church, pastoring a church kind of thing. That has given me that opportunity, that call from God, and that wisdom given by God, you know, reading my Bible and reading not just to say I'm a Bible reader, but with a heart wanting to apply what I read in everyday life to help others. And so I give God all the praise. Thank you.
And yeah, before you go, you know, because we have about a few more minutes left, and I think I need to wind up from you. Right. I really appreciate that, because a lot of us believe that we do all things on our own, right?
Yeah.
But we need to know that God is the center
That's right.
of all that we do, right? Without God, we just cannot make it. You know, we have
the child in the way he should go, and when he's old, he will not depart from it.
Yes.
Proverbs 26:22, I think it is.
Right. So, listen to what you say, Mr. Thompson. I think I definitely would have to get you one of these nights in studio as well, right? Not just on just on the here, right? Because I think I feel real motivated, because one of the things, you know, Mr. Thompson, what I would like to say to people, and maybe that is the thing that probably your children are being blessed, right? You see, when you love other people, children, you automatically blessing your child or your children.
Yeah.
Right? Because you don't know about this child, but you see the child and the child needs something, get help. But believe that every child is your child, right?
Every
So
child needs
when you're
love.
in a
Every child needs
position
love.
to
Not
say,
only just yours.
right, when you're in a position to say kind words, say kind words. When you're in a position to pray and to give, do just that. But a lot of us mind our own business, mind our own children, and if John Brown children want live or dead, not a problem to them. But just this me myself, as long as my child is on. One of us just need to know and to understand, right?
So, McLaren, I'm not boasting, but I'm just re-emphasizing the importance of making ourselves available to influence that child's life. Do you know? I'm not doing know. I'm telling you that, and I have scores of these can tell you. I took my sister from the country in the early 70s with a 4-year-old child. And that child, under the tutelage of my wife, she loves kids gone to bed.
Okay.
That child is a consultant to CIBC in Canada now.
My
And I
God.
think she has just left that job to be a professor to lecture in accounting somewhere in Canada now. So you see, I'm just taking her out of the country now. I don't know what could have happened to her in the country, and that she could have been better yet. But I'm saying, you know, when you make yourself available, it feels somewhat accomplishing that you'd have accomplished something by just going out on the limb and make yourself available to help others.
Yes.
Another one just come from Japan the other day to teach English. That was brought up in my household. So, yeah, and I could run them by this course to you right now. But there are others going to be doing the same thing or have been doing the same thing. And we have to give credit to a lot of people who are making themselves available, you know, with the guidance and with the counsel and the wisdom from God and the patience too, you know, and God's blessing to continue to do what we're doing. Don't give up, don't lose heart, don't lose patience. Don't get trouble, you know, don't get trouble, but they just need the love and the patience and the forgiveness to work along with it. Keeping them out of drugs, keeping the guns out of their hands, you know, as long as we keep doing what we're doing, you know. But boy, I think we're losing it, but then there's still hope. If we can turn it around, you know, we can turn it around.
I strongly believe that, Mr. Thompson, we can turn things around, right? And Mr. Thompson, I'm so grateful of you on this program. When I say grateful, I mean grateful. And I think many listeners know on this program that listen. I heard you say something. This have nothing to do with being boss. I think me, I don't know how many times I get a chance to say these things because even though I know you for a few years, you see, I did not know, I don't hear boss and sure I'm talk about these things until tonight. You see the point? Yeah. So yeah. I think I'm going to need to work another night, right? Yeah. Because right now some of our systems are down, right? So we will go to need another night to really hear some more from you about these children, because this time that we need more men to hear what is going on. I strongly believe that there are men, because men are not so emotional, right? To really put out everything within them and the good thing that they have done, right? But I strongly believe that there are some men out there that are really, really trying. And Mr. Thompson, may the Lord bless you and all your children and the children that you look after. And I think I have about 2 minutes. Let me give you 1 minute to say something that you really want to say. I didn't get a chance to say it.
There are so many more things that I could have been saying tonight. But you did make mention that you have me back. But there are so many people who have a lot of good stories, a lot of that they want to tell, and the influence they themselves would have been having in the lives of other children. So maybe you should give somebody else. I think there's a long line of people out there who really would want to be telling their stories. So I really appreciate and thank you for the opportunity to share tonight. And again, you know, I'll be willing to come back to say some more. But then, as I said, there are brighter people, more accomplished people out there that can come on your program, and they do have a story to tell. So I really do appreciate it. And again, thanks to the Lord God for being my influence. I and rough and a lot of times, but it's always something to it, always the time that for that.
All right, Mr. Thompson.
Thank you.
I listen to what you have to say, but that now that not going to pull me from calling you, and all other persons out there, of course. So I know your humility, Mr. Thompson. I know your humbleness, it's right. So that not going to tell me that. So Mr. Thompson said, I'm going to call somebody else. I will be calling back on Mr. Thompson right in studio here.
And I know I've known you you did say a few years, but it's well over 20 odd years. And
That's a long
ever
time?
since oh yes, and
Yes.
ever since I knew you, remember we were co-workers together.
Yes,
You were
my
such
God.
a hard worker. You were one of the hardest workers. If I were to have called on anybody to recommend them to their company to build up their human resource complement, I would never. You would be among the first two on my list. So, in those times I can remember you. So you're just a great influence yourself.
I want to be very, very frank. And what Mr. Thompson said, don't think you make it up, We used to work at this company, right? And do you remember the time when you make a recommendation from to become a supervisor or some manager at the way or something? Do you remember that? You made that recommendation from me as well when I was there.
Well, there you go now.
See the point, probably don't remember, right? But I think
that one in one's life and in New York.
I remember the day when you came to me and said you're making a recommendation for me to get this position in the company, but then I left after.
Now that we're talking, we recall these things. But if we set ourselves to do them all the time, they're countless. We won't even remember them.
Yes. And I want to say thanks to you and a lot of persons that give me the influence prior to be where I am today, because I know I'm happy to hear back from you. And there are a lot of persons, Mr. Thompson, that really, and I say, you know that I carry the respect for you. Sorry, listeners, but I have to give him the credit. We don't get the time. And I don't know that this gentleman, somebody that kind that I respect for. When I hear Mr. Thompson talk, let me say, he have nothing as any bullshit, that he's just a very humble person. Mr. Thompson, the Lord bless you, bless your family, all the children, and everyone that come on here. And I thank you very much. I'm looking forward to seeing you.
Having me on your program tonight. I really do appreciate it.
All right. Thank you very much, sir. Be positive and God bless you until another time.
God bless you on your program and your listeners. Call us again.
Right. Thank you very much. And of course, let me say thanks to Nicole Turner, who was half time on this program. Nicole, I thank you very much. And the Lord bless you as well. Thank you very much, listeners. The Lord bless you. Be positive.
To you by the Beer of Gender Affairs.
Students of the Denham Town Primary School, as you are listening to Be Positive